a crime. Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime do you have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name sir.
You
Specifically.
you asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category. What is the
It's a category
crime?
of crimes that you're then charged
You have charges.
A long 100
You
list
have
of
charges. Sir,
Want me
please
to name
name.
the exact statute
Sir,
under RICO?
yes.
Oh, well, it's funny. In this committee room, everyone's not here. There's over 18
All right, sir. I reclaim my time.
lawyers that went to law school.
I
I'll leave
reclaim
it
my
up to
time.
you guys
Okay,
to
thank
define
you,
the
sir. I
statute
reclaim my
under
time.
RICO.
Clearly, what we are seeing here today is a continuation of the 15-month saga. The majority party, or whomever is raising impeachment, must accuse the president of a high crime, a specific high crime or misdemeanor. I would like to submit to the record HRES 918, the House resolution to open this impeachment inquiry.
Without objection to order.
This resolution does not outline a high crime or misdemeanor. It's not here. Now, when we compare the chairman's opening from his previous opening, he's talking about Ukraine and Burisma and all of this. This entire inquiry is based on a blockbuster piece of information that was in a classified SCIF room. And inside that room was a document alleging President Biden directly of a $10 million bribery scheme, a $10 million bribery scheme, extremely serious. What happened? What happened a month ago, Mr. Chairman? That document, the FBI arrested the person who offered those allegations for falsifying his testimony to the FBI. This entire impeachment inquiry is based on an actual, provable individual who has lied. Now, responsible leadership would withdraw an inquiry based on that. Withdraw it. We are seeing is that this committee was warned about the falsehoods of these allegations, warned by Trump's Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and yet the hearings where your own expert witnesses said that there was no grounds this was enough. The FBI arrested the individual who was the source of the entire, to quote the chairman, heart of the matter, to launch this impeachment inquiry, and proceeded anyway. Anyway, why is this committee, and by the way, no charges. I have yet to hear in the chairman's opening the United States with. I'm hearing about Biden family, I'm hearing about this and that. I am not hearing the specific allegation by this committee. What is it? It's not here, and that is the problem. The story is when this committee knew that they were working with falsified evidence.
Mace from South Carolina for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On March 1st, 2024, Joe Biden stated he did not interact with Hunter or Jim Biden business associates. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask unanimous consent into a record. New York Post article, Biden insists he did not interact with his family.
Without objection to order.
We're going to go fast here. I have strictly yes or no questions. On that note, the New York Post article, Joe Biden also said, read the record of every single witness. So I did. I first read Devin Archer's deposition, and he interacted with Joe Biden. Then I read the transcripts of Wab Walker, Eric Schwerin, George Burgess, Kevin Morris, Tony Bobulinski, and Jason Galanis. And every single one of them interacted with Joe Biden. And that's just the people we interviewed. Mr. Galanis, my first questions are for you. Did Hunter Biden call Joe Biden with Elena Badarina on the line on May 4th, 2014, yes or no?
Yes.
In that call, did Hunter Biden state on this call with Joe Biden that everything is good and we're moving forward?
Yes, he did.
Okay, on the same call, did Joe Biden in the call was saying, okay, then you be good to my boy?
Yes, he said that as well.
Okay, did Badarina agree to put $20 million into one of Hunter Biden's business projects days later after this phone call?
Yes.
Okay, did Hunter Biden ever take a call from Joe Biden while at the Peninsula Bar in New York?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Did Hunter Biden ever take a call from Joe Biden while at the Peninsula Bar in New York?
Yes, he did.
During this call, did Hunter Biden update Joe Biden on progress in landing a business partnership with Harvest Fund Management?
Yes.
Okay. Was Harvest a $300 billion Chinese financial services company closely tied to the Chinese Communist Party?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Is Hunter
It
Biden
is.
involved with Harvest?
Two ways through BHR, which is the fund.
Yes or
that,
no? Was Hunter
Harvest is
Biden
the
Biden involved with Harvest? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. As part of the deal,
Extensive emails to that effect.
as
also.
part of the deal, did Hunter compete for Joe Biden?
Yes.
Okay. Did Henry Zhao, a Chinese businessman, want assurances Joe Biden would join the board? Yes or no?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He
Did Hunter
expressed
Biden?
that in emails as well.
Okay, thank you.
And
Hunter
in
Biden,
conversations.
did Hunter Biden draft an email stating, please also remind Henry Zhao of our conversation about a board seat for a certain relation of mine. Devin and I golfed with that relation earlier this week, and we discussed this very idea again. And as always, he remains very, very keen on the opportunity. Here is a photo of Joe Biden and Devin Archer and Hunter Biden golfing days before the alleged email draft. Do you believe a certain relation of mine refers to Joe Biden?
I don't think there's any question. It was based on firsthand picture and at that golf meeting.
Did you ever meet with Devin Archer where Hunter took calls from his father?
Yes.
Okay, during one of these phone calls, and Hunter Biden told him that he and Henry Zhao needed help getting, quote, getting across the finish line.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, Mr. Bobulinski, do you recall receiving an email that floated the possibility of giving 10% ownership Sino-Hawk to Joe Biden through Hunter Biden?
Yes.
Okay, my last questions are for both of you very quickly. Mr. Bobulinski and Mr. Galanis, you both stated you were told not to use Joe Biden's name in communications, correct, Mr. Bobulinski?
Correct.
Mr. Galanis?
Yes.
Okay. Did Joe Biden Okay, Mr. Galanis, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. In Hunter Biden's deposition, he said he did not involve his father in his business. Did Hunter Biden lie under oath? Mr. Bobulinski?
Yes.
Mr.
If that's what he said, yes, that would be
Okay.
true.
Is Joe Biden lying when he says he did not interact with Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, their business partners or forward interests? Yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Galanis?
Yes.
All right. In a debate on October 22nd, 2020, Joe Biden associates and foreign interests include money from Chinese businesses, business partners, and or interests. Yes or no? Mr. Bobulinski?
I'm sorry, did the
Did Hunter
Biden family
Biden
make
receive money
money?
from Chinese
Correct,
business
yes.
interests? Mr. Galanis? Did Hunter Biden
Money
receive
from-
money from Chinese business interests? Yes or no?
Yes, he was.
Okay, thank
yes,
you.
he had economic interest, and yes.
All right. Claim that he was not involved in Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, or any other Biden family business deals. Today, our witnesses have proved otherwise. Today, we've established Joe Biden lied about interacting with Hunter Biden's business associates. It is my belief Joe Biden is the closer for Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, and their business associates and foreign interests. Good luck to the left proving otherwise. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentle-
The
the ranking member.
7 seconds.
Oh, I don't know that there's much time left, but thank you for that eloquent and compressed recitation of some of what we've lived with over the last few years.
Chair recognizes Mr. LaTurner from Kansas for 5 minutes.
Mr. Bobolinsky, I want to talk about May of 2017. To be clear, Hunter Biden was doing business with CEFC while his dad was VP. Are you aware of that now? Yes. Rob Walker told us that during his transcribed interview before the committee. But I want to talk to you about your meeting with Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and Jim Biden in May of 2017. Other members are going to bring up the meeting you had with Joe Biden at the Beverly Hilton the night before the Milken Conference, but I want to talk about the next day when you went as Joe Biden's guest to the Milken Conference. So, you watched Joe Biden deliver a speech that day. Then you had a follow-up conversation with Joe Biden. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
What did Joe Biden tell you during that conversation?
Well, as I've already publicly shared, I was brought backstage by his team because he had just given his keynote, and we just exchanged. I walked him out to his car, and he specifically thanked me for the work I was doing with his son and his brother, and asked me to keep an eye on them.
And my understanding is, Mr. Bobolinsky, that after Joe Biden had left, you went across his brother Jim Biden. Is that correct?
I did.
It's my understanding that you asked him how the Biden family does the business that they do, while Joe Biden is such a prominent political figure. What was Jim Biden's response to you?
Correct. I was actually concerned and asking from a position of concern, and Jim Biden's response to me was plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability. And by that you mean Joe Biden would be kept in the loop, but you weren't supposed to talk about it. Especially in writing. Mr. Galanis, during your transcribed interview with the committees, you said a very interesting phrase. Say it, forget it, write it, regret it. Does this sound familiar? Is this consistent with your understanding of how the Bidens do business, Mr. Galanis?
Yeah.
It looks like someone made a mistake. Mr. Bobolinsky, you created 2 companies with the Bidens. I want to show you an infamous email discussing the ownership structure of one of those companies, CEFC. You can see on the screen, 20% for H, 20% for Rob Walker, 20% for James Gilliar, 20% for Tony Bobolinsky, 10% for Jim Biden, and 10% held by H for the, quote, big guy. Mr. Bobolinsky, who is the big guy?
The big guy is 100% Joe Biden.
Mr. Bobolinsky, Hunter Biden didn't respond saying, knock it off. We can't include Joe Biden, did he?
No, and that's actually a critical point because remember,
Mr. Bobolinsky, did you ever get a text message or a group text message or anything like that saying, guys, knock it off, Joe Biden isn't involved in this deal?
no, the whistleblowers actually have a text exchange where they're talking about everything else but that, and the reason why they weren't talking about it is because everyone knew Joe Biden was the big guy.
Hunter Biden begged for a public hearing, but it turns out he is too afraid of accountability to show up and tell the truth to the American people. But Americans don't need Hunter's testimony to know they are being gaslit by this president. It's blatantly obvious to anyone paying attention that Joe Biden is the big guy. The CEFC deal broke the say it, forget it, write it, regret it rule of the Biden family businesses, and now they are trying to cover it up. Never made a dime from China. But Mr. Bobolinsky just confirmed that Hunter, Jim, and the big guy himself all got a cut from the CEFC China energy deal. Let me be clear. The only service the Biden family ever provided was their ability to leverage the office of the Vice President of the United States to cash in overseas. My Democrat colleagues are going to try and tell you that Joe Biden wasn't on the final owner structure agreement, but isn't it true? If someone holding Joe Biden's stake in the company, it wouldn't appear in the document. Isn't that the whole point of this email, to hold Joe Biden's stake so his name wouldn't be in the document? Isn't this just plausible deniability in action, Mr. Bobulinski?
It appears that way.
But plausible deniability only gets you so far. Now, I want to fast forward from May to the end of July of 2017. When the Bidens cut you out of the deal, I want to show you a message that Hunter sent to his Chinese business partners. Please put it up on the screen. Hunter writes, quote, "I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled." So, when Hunter Biden is desperate for money, Jim Biden's old trick of plausible deniability doesn't cut it. And when desperate times call let the cat out of the bag, said the quiet part out loud, and gave the game away by calling on his father to help him shake down his Chinese business partners for the money. And it worked. Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Second, I wish Hunter Biden were here because I'd like to ask him about his taxes. I want to know if he paid his fair share, just like his dad's asked Americans to do. I want to know if he's current on his taxes, and if he isn't, I'd like to ask him when he plans to pay up. Mr. Bobulinski, you're a businessman. Did you pay your taxes?
I did.
Mr.
I'm happy to
Bobulinski
pay.
he actually pays his taxes, unlike the president's son, and yet Democrats on this committee act like Hunter is the believable one out of
Thank you. By the way, how are you doing? Good? Okay. Mr. Bobulinski. Over here, how you doing? Good. So I just have a question. We've been at this for for 15 months now in oversight. I know this is your first time here, but do you think Chairman Comer has proven that Joe Biden has committed a high crime and misdemeanor?
I believe with all the evidence he's gathered, yes, he's proven that Joe Biden has committed high crimes and misdemeanors.
Okay, and so I assume you believe Joe Biden should be impeached.
Well, that's up to you guys.
But do you believe he should be impeached? It's yes or no.
Do I personally believe
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah, you.
constitutional?
No. You personally, do you believe he should be impeached?
I do.
Okay, and you believe that because you believe Chairman Comer has proven that he committed a high crime and misdemeanor?
No, because I know that he committed high crimes and misdemeanors.
Okay.
I was involved in saw them happen.
Right, but obviously, with all the evidence, Chairman has proven that, right?
You re-asked the question?
Sure. I'll sum it up. I assume you believe he should be impeached. My point is that the chairman has not yet moved for that. And so, look, Chairman, we got like 3.5 minutes here. I mean, let's just do the impeachment. I mean, why continue to waste millions of dollars of the taxpayers' money if we're going to impeach because misdemeanor? What do you? I mean, by the way, we got Chairman Jordan here also, the double chairman. Why aren't you guys calling for the vote in your committee? When is it going to happen? When can we tell the American people you're going to stop wasting their money and just call for the vote on impeachment?
Gentlemen, Gentlemen, yield.
Sure.
We don't do snap impeachments like you guys. We actually do the facts. We do oversight
So
according to the
you're
Constitution.
never going to call for it. You're never going to call for it. I mean,
you can
2
predict.
months?
You can predict the future. How do you know?
You guys only have 6 more months probably in power, right, until the election. So are you going to? In 2 months, you can do it in 3 months. Like, tell the American people,
I didn't read that in the
So that means,
Constitution.
so if you believe can't call for the impeachment now, then what you're admitting is you haven't yet proven that he's committed a high crime and misdemeanor. You haven't proven it yet. Otherwise, you would call for it, I assume.
We're doing our work. We're
Okay,
doing our
so
investigation.
they haven't proven it, right? They haven't proven he committed a high crime and misdemeanor. Otherwise, we would call for. So I just look. You know, the chairman knows me well. I mean, I'm just here to help him, right? And so I just think we should do it today. Let's just call for it. I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman. I want to help you out. You can send it, right? Like, make the motion to impeach President. President Biden. Go ahead. It's your turn. You second. No, nothing. We got nothing. So I want it with my last couple minutes. Biden, it's never going to happen because they don't have evidence. Okay, this is a show. It's all fake. They just want to do these hearings. It's not legal. To impeachment, they're laying to their base on Newsmax and Fox, leading these people to believe that they're going to eventually impeach the president. It's not going to happen at all, ever, period. They don't even have the votes, even if they had it in committee. They don't have the votes on the floor. They know that. They got members resigning rather than taking a vote on the fake, faux impeachment. Just ask Ken Buck, who said the speaker ain't going to get me to take an unconstitutional impeachment vote. I mean, boy. I mean, so, look, I mean, if these hearings were a success, right, if what we've been doing for the last 15 months had convinced the American people that Joe Biden committed a high crime and misdemeanor, you can be damn sure they would have called the vote by now, right? But they want it to go on. They either want it to go on because they don't have the evidence.
Are you asking me a question?
No, I'm just looking at you.
Oh, okay.
But if you want to talk to me, we can talk.
Well, no, I think you haven't read recent data that shows the American people are well aware of the Biden's corruption.
Perfect. So then ask the chairman. Ask Comer. Hey, Comer, how come you haven't called for impeachment? I'll do it. Watch. Hi, I'm Tony. Hey, Chairman, how come you haven't called for impeachment? When are we going to have the hearing? When is the vote going to happen? I mean, you believe it. He believes it. He says it every day. I just don't know when we're going to have the vote. I mean, let's just go.
Are you asking me to hold the vote?
We can save. No, I just like looking at you. Yeah. We can save the taxpayers millions of dollars. So, I mean, look, I used all my time to show that this vote is never going to happen because they have no evidence on Joe Biden. I yield back.
Gentleman's time's expired. Chair now recognizes Ms. Luna from Florida for 5 minutes.
Mr. Parnas, I want to read to you a few quotes from a letter that you wrote to the House Oversight Committee published. He stated that Hunter Biden was never asked or assigned to speak with anyone in the U.S. on behalf of Burisma Mr. Parnas, are you aware that to Amos Hochstein, a U.S. State Department official, in a transcribed interview with the Senate, Hunter Biden requested to have a meeting with him in November of 2015? Mr. Hochstein testified that he met with Hunter Biden and they spoke about Burisma. So yes or no, that statement that you made to House Oversight was incorrect?
The statement was CEO.
It's directly
This was his
conflicting with
answer. This was
testimony.
not-
Next question.
Rep, that was not
There
my
were no
answers.
political
Those
or
are answers
lobbying
from the
firm
CEO
efforts on behalf
Burisma.
of Burisma in your statement that you made to House Oversight. Mr. Parnas, are you aware that Burisma's engagement of Blue Star Strategies, which was a law firm that was lobbying the U.S. government on behalf of Burisma, and Mikola Slocheski, and according to Sally Painter and Karen Termitano, the heads of Burisma? So that statement, again, that you wrote to this committee was incorrect, yes or no?
No, you're incorrect because
That
it
is
said
incorrect.
No, the-
You're directly
no.
conflicting with
So I thank you for truthfully to the American people today. I'm going to ask you about the China Energy Fund Committee, the CEF. This